Hello. Yeah, this is me, your friend and kin and people who you know, King David D. I was had a pretty interesting day in church today, and one of the Bible studies that we had was in regards of following our Father God's commandments, and so there was this guy that was in one of the Bible studies that we was talking about, and uh, he was setting up for a sacrifice. He was going to uh, put a lamb on and 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 burn him for a sacrifice. And so God came down and God asked him. He says, well, no, it wasn't God. It was a friend. And he asked him. He says, why are you making that sacrifice? And so the man replied and said, I don't know. Um, God told me to. And so the lesson in that is, do do we concern ourselves with, are we only in the frame of mind that it's only 10 commandments that our Father God has placed, or are there times when God speaks to each and every one of us and make a commandment for us to do something right then? If Have you ever had an experience like that? That it was something that happened and you knew that was something that you had to do because you knew that this was something that our Father God was having you to do, and you was absolutely sure about it. Because see, once we establish that kind of a relationship with our Father God, we know when He's speaking to us, and only we would know. Because, like, yes, there are false spirits that can come about and have an individual to believe that it was something that God told them. But see, an individual that has a true to honest and a very strong understanding that they have with our Father God, they they pretty much know when God is speaking to them, and nobody else can tell you. I it's not saying that God is going to tell somebody to go out and murder somebody, nothing like that. Uh, because that is not one of the those that's one of the commandments in which that God do not want us to do, and or to go and to sleep with your neighbor's wife. You know, that's not that's not one of the things that our Father God tell us to do either. You know, our relationship with God is personal, and we must know, we must, without a doubt, have that type of concernment about ourselves to where we know when our Father God is making a commandment directly to us, for you and only you. And it could be one of the simplest things, just to see if you are tuned in with Him. God may tell you to get up and go and fix your brother or your cousin a plate of food and take it to him. And you may not understand. And you would think, No, I'm going to do that for my lunch tomorrow. Any kind of lame excuse. See, we need to come to an understanding with ourselves and our Father to know when He is definitely commanding us to act in a certain way that was not necessarily our thoughts. But we also discussed about when there could have been times in our past when God was speaking to us and we had a clue that this was our Father talking to us, but at that time we just chose not to act. We just chose not to do it. We chose to be disobedient. And it happens. It really do. I was in California. And so I got up, me and this friend of mine, we was homeless in LA. And where we was living was in Inglewood. And so I got up one morning and I was just tired of this. And so I was walking down the street and I seen this church, Pentecostal. You know how Pentecostals are. They are loud and they go berserk. So I walked in there and they asked, was there anybody there that first time? I stood up and they said, brother, is there something that you would like to say? So I told them my story. I was homeless, I was hungry, and that I was out doing all kind of drugs and stuff. And regardless, these people, God placed it on their heart to put me in front of the church congregation. And all these people came around, put money in my pocket, cramming bills in my hands, hugging me and telling me, God bless you, brother, come back again, so on and so forth. No sooner did I got out that door, I went and bought me some drugs. And knowing that this was wrong, while I was doing it, it was just all in my head. I'm knowing what I'm doing is not what my Father wanted me to do. He wanted me to go get some food. And so after I spent the last dollar that I had on me some drugs, I had just got this rock from this guy that was walking down the street and say, you straight? And I said, hey man, come on over here. So he came over and I gave him the money. He put the rock in my hand. And just as I was about to cross the street, the police pulled in front of me, snatched my butt up off the curb, slung me down in the grass. But as soon as they seen me purchase the drugs. But see, what I done when they grabbed me up, I dropped it. I dropped that rock right on the streets, and it broke into fragments and where nobody else could see it. But that didn't stop the police from whooping my behind. And they gave it to me good. And so my conclusions of that experience was that I got a whooping. God allowed the devil to tear me a new one. Because I went in there knowing what I was about to do was wrong. But we don't always look at it like that. Sometimes we look at it and something bad happens, we just say bad things happen to people to anybody. Think about it. You never know. What did you do? Are you getting a whooping? Or is this just an incident that the devil just trying to confuse you? Because that happens too. But I just wanted to share that. I needed to share that with you because, today in our lives, we are so sure of ourselves. And on top of that, there's a number of us that don't even believe that the Father is speaking to us. Are you one of them? Are you one of those people that has lost their connect with the Father? Think about it. It's King David D. coming here and asking you again to always know that I love you. You love me.